Okay, so I want to take a look at this question. It was one of this one here on the right hand side. It was one of the less well done questions, and it said find the exact solutions to this thing, x plus 3 over x equals 7. Now the question didn't say using the quadratic formula, but it was on the quadratic formula. I think it was the advanced topic test. So I've just added that in using the quadratic formula. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an extra little stipulation. I'm going to say in brackets that this is non-calculator. So it's a bit more of an unusual question. Normally for a quadratic formula question, the clue that it's a quadratic formula question is it will say something like give your answers to 2 decimal places, 3 decimal places. That's normally a big clue, right? This is a quadratic formula question. However, this one tells us we need to use the quadratic formula, but it also says we need to find the exact solutions. So it's exact solutions and quadratic formula. So it's a little bit different. If we look at this, hopefully the first thing you spotted is at the moment, this does not look like this. ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay, for us to be able to use any of our 3 methods, okay, that's our factorization method, quadratic formula, or completing the square, we probably want to make it look like that first. Okay, so I'm going to start off by, I'll just write it out. Okay, I'm going to multiply through by x. Don't forget to multiply every term through. Now, hopefully you can see this is going to look like it's going to be of that form. Okay, so it's going to be x squared minus 7x plus 3 equals 0. Now we're going to use the quadratic formula, okay, with a equals 1, b equals negative 7, c equals 3. Okay, write out your formula here. X equals minus b plus minus. And I want you guys to get into the habit of doing that every time, okay? Writing that formula out every single time, okay? Substitute your values in. Minus b, so minus 7, so that's 7, be careful there. Plus minus the square root of b squared, so that's minus 7 squared, which is 49. Minus 4 times 1 times 3. I'll just stick that in brackets just to make it really clear. All over 2a, all over 2. Just tidy it up a bit now. So we've got 7 plus minus the square root of 49 minus 12, all over 2. Which gives me 7 plus minus the square root of 37. 49 minus 12, 37, all over 2. That is a perfectly acceptable answer, okay? A few different ways you might write it. You could do this, 7 over 2 plus minus square root of 37 over 2, okay? So just kind of split up, it's not really split it up, but I've just written the denominator over each term separately, that's fine. You could write it as this, 7 over 2 plus root 37 over 2 and 7 over 2 minus root 37 over 2. Both of those are fine, okay? So this is an exact solution, okay? We can't work out in our heads very easily, or even a calculator won't be able to give you an exact value of root 37. So we've kept it like that, okay? Or any of these, I'll go back to that original one, okay? If we think back to our surds topic that we did, okay, 37, we can't break that up, okay? We can't simplify that surd. So we're just going to leave it like that. What I would like you guys to do, have a go at this one. Pause the video now, have a go at this one. This one you can do a little bit more simplification on at the very, very end. So you'll get to this stage, hopefully, okay, which is great. But what I want you then to do is try and push yourself a bit further, do a little bit of revision on that surds work that we did, and go from there. So pause the video now, have a go at that. Okay, so exactly the same sort of thing. We've got to make it of that form ax squared plus bx plus c. So that's going to give me x squared equals 5 plus 6x x squared minus 6x minus 5 equals 0. A equals 1, B equals minus 6, C equals minus 5. Write out my formula. Substitute your values in. Be really careful with our negatives, okay? Minus 6, so that's going to be 6, plus minus the square root of b squared minus 36 squared, minus 6 squared is 36, minus 4 times 1 times minus 5, okay, all over 2a, all over 2, or 2 times 1. Tidy this up. That gives me 6 plus minus the square root of 36 minus 20, which is, so it's going to be 6 plus minus square root of 56 all over 2. So we've got to this stage. Now I've said there's a bit more that you can do here. Yeah, so we can, what I'm going to do is do that trick where we split the denominator, write it over both terms separately. So now we've got 6 over 2 plus minus root 56 over 2. And you can see that's one reason why we might do that over there. It didn't necessarily make it any easier. But over here, well, 6 over 2, we can rewrite that as 3 plus minus root 56 over 2. Now, can do a little bit more here. Okay, so this is linking back to the surds work that we did just before we went off. I'm going to split up root 56 into 4, root 4 times root 14. Okay, remember that thing is still all over 2, which gives me 3 plus minus, well, I know that root 4 is 2. That's going to be 2 over, 2 root 14, all over 2. And at the very end, they'll cancel through, which gives me the final answer of 3 plus minus root 14 is my final answer. Now, root 14, I can break it up, but I can only split it up into root 2 and root 7, which themselves won't simplify anymore. So I'm going to leave it like that as my final answer. Okay, so this is a harder one. If you got to here, over there, fantastic. Okay, then down here, it's that little bit of extra surds revision. Okay, that's taking it a bit further than this question on the right. Just to really push you and link back to some of the previous work that we did and hopefully give you a sense of why sometimes it's fine to leave it like that, but sometimes by splitting things up, we can then use our surds work, which is going to just help us get a nicer answer.